Go ahead and start the Special Code Revisions, Appeals, and Negotiations Committee. Roll call, please.
Alderman Seeger.
Present.
Alderman Moiseo. Alderman Kirkwood.
Present.
Alderman Hayes. Present. Mayor Taylor.
Present.
You have a quorum.
Thank you. Can I have a motion for the approval of the minutes for the April 4th, 2022 committee meeting?
Here. I'll second.
Okay, Alderman Kirkwood and Alderman Seeger. New business.
Oh, we got to have a roll call on that.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No problem.
Roll call, please.
Alderman Seeger.
Present.
This is for the minutes.
Aye.
Aye. Alderman Moiseo. Alderman Kirkwood.
Aye.
Alderman Hayes.
Aye.
Mayor Taylor.
Aye. New business. Can I have a motion for item A? I need a first.
I'll second.
I'm sorry. Alderman Kirkwood, did you say first?
Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm having trouble through the plexiglass.
Oh, okay.
There's like three of you, so I can't tell. Alderman Kirkwood and Alderman Seeger were the first and second on that. A motion to approve an ordinance amending Article 1 of Chapter 20 of the City's Code of Ordinances to establish a local taxpayer's Bill of Rights. Any questions to the motion? Okay. Roll call, please.
Alderman Seeger.
Aye.
Alderman Kirkwood.
Aye.
Alderman Hayes.
Aye.
Mayor Taylor.
Aye. Item B. Can I have a first?
First.
Alderman Kirkwood, a second by Alderman Hayes. A motion to approve an ordinance amending Section 2-454A of the City Code regarding purchase limits of the CDBG programs. Any questions?
Oh,
Alderman
no
Hayes?
questions. So
Okay.
just jumping the gun to vote for it.
Okay. Roll call, please.
Alderman Seeger.
Aye.
Alderman Kirkwood.
Aye.
Alderman Hayes.
Aye.
Mayor Taylor.
Aye. Can I have a first on item C? I need a first. A motion, Alderman Hayes, second by Alderman Kirkwood. A motion to approve an ordinance amending Section 14-1 of the City Code regarding rental unit business license regulations. Any questions to the motion? Okay, roll call, please.
Alderman Seeger.
Aye.
Alderman Kirkwood.
Aye.
Alderman Hayes.
Aye.
Mayor Taylor.
Aye. Item D, can I have a first for the motion? First, Alderman Seeger, second, Alderman Hayes. Motion to approve an ordinance amending Section 11-32 of the City Code regarding truck noise. Any question to the motion? I guess I did have one question. Did we amend that in residential areas?
Yeah, I can explain what it is. Okay, so right now there's currently a maximum sound level that is allowed, and one of the there's an exception for the loading of any trucks, which is an exception. We're actually narrowing that exception, so making the loading of trucks is subject to the maximum sound level, except if you're within a business district during the operation of the business. So we're not going to ding businesses that are loading trucks, but we're making it clear that loading of trucks outside of a business area, outside of regular operating hours, would be subject to this.
Okay. Any questions besides? Okay. Roll call, please.
Alderman Seager,
Aye.
Alderman Kirkwood,
Aye.
Alderman Hayes,
Aye.
Mayor Taylor.
Aye. Can I have a first for a motion for item E? First? Need a first?
I'll give you a first, Mayor.
Okay. Alderman Hayes, second. Alderman Seager. A motion to approve an ordinance amending Chapter 6 of the City Code regarding building regulations. Any questions to the motion? Roll call, please.
Alderman Seager,
Aye.
Alderman Kirkwood, Alderman Hayes,
Aye.
Mayor Taylor.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Can I have a first for item F for a motion?
First.
First, Alderman Hayes, second. I need a second. Alderman Seager. Okay, motion to approve an ordinance amending Chapter 21 of the City Code regarding the parking on driveway aprons. Any questions to the motion?
I have a question.
Sure.
Stu, do you mind just kind of explaining for us exactly how this is going to work? Because I think we might get some pushback from people that say, if they're responsible for maintaining the driveway, the portion of the driveway that's in between the street and the sidewalk, then why can't they park their car there?
Yeah, this is basically a keeping of the public ways clear measure. And so the apron is defined as the part of the driveway that actually widens. And so what we wanted to make clear was that if you park, you cannot block a driveway already under the code, and then you cannot park in an apron in such a way that would block pedestrian access as well.
Okay, so the idea is to keep the rear of the car, or one end of the car out of the street, and also not block the sidewalk?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Does that include the sidewalk or the distance between the apron? How's that go?
Well, this would cover that, yes. This covers that, yes.
Thank you.
Alderman Newsom had a question.
Okay, I know you said that you cannot park on the apron and to block the sidewalk. There are residents that are not parking to pull into the driveway. They're parking, yes. And you're not blocking the sidewalk and you're not in the street.
I'm sorry, Alderman Edith, can you say that again, please? Speak into the mic. Thank you, hon.
I said there are residents that park their cars, they're not blocking the sidewalk and they're not blocking the street. They're parked sideways in the approach, parallel to the street, but they're not in the street and they're not blocking the sidewalk.
So technically, they'd be within the portion of the parkway that the driveway apron crosses?
Right.
Okay. I mean, technically, the parkway belongs to the city. And so,
That's what Alderman Hayes was saying, that the parkway and the approach, the resident is responsible
Right.
for maintaining that. So why can't I park my car right there?
it's a good point. And I think Alderman Rivera was the sponsor and kind of the impetus for this, so he may have some comments on this. But if you have concerns about that, this is a policy decision
Yeah.
for the council to consider.
Alderman Rivera?
Okay, my concern with this whole thing was that right now, if you take a vehicle and park it on the street, blocking the driveway, that's a ticket. You cannot do that. Even if it's your own driveway, you cannot block your own driveway. So why would we allow somebody to put their vehicle on the parkway, still blocking the driveway? And sometimes what it does is, some people have enough room to park a vehicle, some don't. It ends up being on the sidewalk. In the wintertime, I've seen people, because of the snow, they push their vehicles towards where the grassy area is at because it's packed with snow right now and you can get a vehicle in there. I mean, they're trying to find any which way to park their vehicles. But my main concern to this was, if you can't park in the street and block a driveway, why would we allow somebody to park on the parkway to block a driveway? It just makes no sense.
I didn't know you get a ticket for blocking your own
Yes.
driveway. Your own driveway.
Your own driveway.
I think that should be changed.
I think part of the reason for that, Alderman Newsom, is that we don't know who's blocking the driveway. It may be the owner, it may be somebody else, but a general rule that can be observed by police is probably the reason for that.
And if I could just make a
Go ahead, Alderman Hayes.
Just make a quick comment. I understand from a policy perspective why we have to regulate it at some degree. If the rear of the car, if the car is parked facing the home, I guess, the way I'm thinking about it, and the rear of the car is hanging out in the street, the garbage truck can hit it, the plows can hit it, another car can hit it. And so we want to just avoid that type of accident, I suppose. But also, if the nose of the car is parked over the sidewalk, now everybody else who has a right-of-way on the city sidewalk can't use the sidewalk, or they then have to step onto somebody's property to get around the car, and it just creates a whole host of issues. I just think we're going to get pushback from people who have multiple cars and don't have enough space to park those cars. So I'm in favor of the spirit of this. I think we want to be prepared for any pushback. I've had people in the Ninth Ward call me and say, hey, I got a ticket because the nose of the car was over the sidewalk. My son came home from college, in fact, this was the story, and he just parked late at night, and that's the way he did it. To Alderman Newsom's point, if somebody, I think you said this, but if somebody parks sideways, I've seen that as well, where they kind of angle the car, that's not blocking the street, it's not blocking the sidewalk. Would that be an infraction of this ordinance if they were parked on the apron but not restricting anything?
As it is currently written, it would. So if there was a desire to limit that and to allow people to kind of parallel park into their driveway apron, language could be added that would say, or upon any driveway apron in such a way that impedes that in some blocks or impedes passage along the sidewalk.
Yeah, at the risk of making us go back to the drawing board, it might make sense to do that. Felix, tell me if you disagree.
The only thing that I disagree only because it continues to add, it doesn't make it clear. So I can have a neighbor violate it by a couple of inches. I mean, just to eliminate the whole situation of trying to block the sidewalk.
Sure.
That's why I'm doing it, really.
Okay. Yeah. I would just say, I think as a last point, again, we're going to get pushback from people saying, I have to pay to replace this in the event that something's wrong with it, and I'm ultimately responsible for clearing it and for other maintenance-related items as it relates to the apron, but I can't park my car there. I could see some issues.
I know that I brought a situation like this to Chief Wallace maybe 3 months ago, where a resident has a short driveway. They can only park 2 cars, and then he have another vehicle that he parks parallel. It's not blocking the street, and it's nowhere blocking the sidewalk. And they were issued a citation. So, and there's very limited parking on the street because they have mailboxes that are drive delivery.
Oh.
So you can't park a car on the street because you can't block the mailbox. And this is in townhomes. So it's very limited parking on the street. The driveways are short from the garage to the sidewalk, and then they may do with parking parallel in the approach. So that would eliminate a parking space for them.
Yeah. Yeah, you guys have heard me argue.
In certain situations, not everybody would be, I haven't seen everybody do that. This was the first case that I've had in 20 years that somebody parked like that. Now, if you have ample parking in your driveway, I can see, not, using that spot as a parking space. But if you don't, then you're eliminating a parking spot for that.
Well,
the
I mean,
residents.
I'm willing to, you know, we can set it aside and we can continue to talk about it. I'm willing to, definitely, because I want everyone to feel comfortable about this. But just a small story, I have a neighbor, he's got a 3-car garage. He has 5 vehicles. All 5 are outside because his garage is used as storage for something else. And he has plenty of space. But again, you know, how people choose, you know, to use their garages and their parking spaces on their driveways and how they choose, you know, how many cars they have, it's totally up to them. The only thing that we can regulate really is, you know, where they can park and
Yeah.
whether it makes sense or not.
Okay. I appreciate that, and I think we're in agreement in substance. I think
Right.
that we should try to modify it a little bit so there's some clarity surrounding what people can do. I've argued about I've taken a position on a handful of things up here, and I think one of them, a reoccurring theme, is just making sure that people have full use of and enjoyment of their own property. And so to the extent that we can still provide that space for parking, but also make it so that city services, delivery trucks are not in any way inhibited by their parking. If we can find some language that allows for that, then I'd be in favor of doing it that way.
So should we hold this over then?
We'll hold it over, yeah.
Okay. Item F is held over.
I think Alderman Seeger had a question.
I'm sorry, Alderman Seeger?
Well, they already can't do that.
Well, this would provide where they could park. So right now, they can't park on their front lawn either. They're not supposed to be.
I have one additional question. That means also their backyard as well, correct?
If
No
it's,
parking on the grass in their backyard.
yes.
We already can't park on any.
Yeah, you can't park on that now, but that wouldn't affect, this is adding to it, not taking those things away. So we'll hold this one over. Do we need a roll call on that?
Yeah, so we're going to have need a substitute motion and a second to hold this over to the next committee meeting.
Okay. Can I have a second to that motion to hold it over? Alderman Hayes? Okay, roll call, please.
Alderman Seeger, motion to hold over.
Aye.
Alderman Kirkwood. Alderman Hayes.
Aye.
Mayor Taylor.
Aye.
That motion will be, this item will be held over to the next committee meeting and brought back with some alternate language.
Item G, can I have a first? I need a first for item G. Alderman Hayes, second.
I'll second.
Alderman Seeger. A motion to approve an ordinance amending Section 3.6 of the City Code ordinances to revise restrictions on licenses. Any questions to this motion? Okay, roll call, please.
Alderman Seeger.
Aye.
Alderman Kirkwood. Okay. Alderman Hayes.
Aye.
Mayor Taylor.
Aye. There being no no old business, any public comment on these items? Okay, can I have a motion to adjourn? You need a
Motion.
first. Alderman Kirkwood, a second. Alderman Hayes, roll call, please.
Alderman Seeger.
Aye.
Alderman Kirkwood. Alderman Hayes.
Aye.
Mayor Taylor.
Aye.